Okay, we're on Nedarim Perek Gimel Mishnah Dalid. We're continuing to talk about what's called Nidrei Onsim, Onasim. If it's a coerced neder, a forced neder, and a person takes a neder not out of his own desire, but because he needs to, he is forced to take the neder. So we learned about what happens if something terrible happens to prevent a person from fulfilling the neder, meaning he intended to take the neder, but then he didn't intend for some tragedy to happen or some uncontrollable case to happen. The next case is a little bit different. No, so this is a case where you're coerced in order to take the neder, in order to prevent somebody from doing something that's untoward. Says the Mishnah. Nodrin laharagin v'lacharamin ulemochasin shehi truma. Okay, a murderer, a haragin, or a charamim. A charamim is a thief who takes stuff just willy-nilly. Ulemochasin, or the tax collector. In this case, the tax collector refers to the illegal tax collector who's taking unnecessary against the law, but that's his power. So he came in and said, okay, give me this grain. So you say, no, it's truma, you can't take it. Which is really interesting that, he's a Jew, and he cares about truma, but he doesn't care about stealing from you. That's clearly the case in the Mishnah. Afapisha einan truma. So you can take a neder and say, I take a neder that all my grain should be kodesh, if this is not truma. That's the neder that you would take. Okay? Even though that it's not truma. Or, shehein beit shel melech. I take a neder that all my produce should be kodesh, if this isn't shel beit melech. That belongs to the king, and you can't steal from the king, even though it doesn't belong to the king. Okay, nonetheless, you're allowed to make that neder in order to prevent him from doing it, in order to prevent him from taking your stuff, and because he wants to believe, he doesn't believe you. So the only way to get him to believe you, like, oh, give me that barrel. No, that belongs to the king. What do you mean it belongs to the king? Take a neder. Say the guy takes a neder and swears. Okay, then I believe you. Beit Shammai says, B'chol nodrim chutz b'shvua. You can take a neder, any kind of neder. I take a neder that all my, konam, that all my possessions should be a korban. You could do that. You shouldn't take a language of a shvua. Beit Hillel says, no, af b'shvua. You can take a shvua. It's okay. Beit Shammai lo yiftach lo b'neder. Beit Shammai says, fine, if he tells you to take the neder, then you can do it, but you shouldn't, yiftach, you shouldn't suggest that you should take the neder. Beit Hillel says, af yiftach lo. Yeah, you can suggest it. So we see a process here. Beit Shammai is trying to minimize the use of the neder. It's called Nidrei Onsim. It's an onus. But Beit Hillel says, no, don't try to minimize. It's a tool for you to use to trick these people who are stealing from you in order to get them not to take things. Similarly, Beit Shammai says, no, you should only take the neder on the thing that he asks you neder. Meaning, do you promise? Do you take a neder? Beit Hillel says, no, even you can take the neder on things that the person, tax collector did not force him to say. Ketzad. How does this mean? What's the example? Amrulo, so they said, Amor konam ishti ne'enetli. So say, okay, fine, if this is true, that this is truma, then say, konam, I take a neder that ishti ne'enetli, my wife cannot have any benefit from me if this is not truma. And the guy says, you know what? No, I'll go one better. Konam ishti ubanai ne'enetli. Not only my wife, but my children as well. So Beit Shammai, remember, said, B'mashu mediro. You can only take the neder what he told you. So therefore, Beit Shammai omrim ishto muteret ubanav asurin. He told you, include your wife. So Beit Shammai says what he told you is okay, but anything more, the neder is chal. We didn't allow you the leeway to take an additional neder, and therefore banav asurin, the neder is chal on your children. Beit Hillel says no, it's a tool. Elu ve'elu mutarim, both of them are permitted. It's not a problem. You're allowed to. These are both mutar. You're allowed to take the neder. The neder is not chal because the whole point is to get the guy off your back. So he's like, take the neder on your wife, and not only my wife, my children too. Then he's really going to believe you, and he's not going to take your property. We'll stop here. Dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.